Have you ever thought about someone for no reason, and suddenly they text you, call you, or pop back into your life? Is it just coincidence? Or is there something deeper happening between minds? In today's video, we're exploring Theme 2, Evidence, and diving into Chapter 5, Telepathy, from the book The Conscious Universe by Dean Radin. This chapter asks a big question. Can telepathy be scientifically proven? Let's begin. Theme 2, Evidence. Why investigate psi at all? Before we jump into telepathy, the book asks, why even study psi, mind-to-mind communication, intuition, precognition, and similar phenomena? The answer is simple. Because people across all of human history from every culture have reported experiences that don't fit into the normal scientific worldview. So instead of ignoring them, science must ask, what exactly are these experiences? Can we study them scientifically? Can we produce evidence strong enough to convince skeptics? To do this, researchers focus on a specific category of strange information transfer called psi, which includes telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, and psychokinesis. The book makes something very clear. Even though folklore and stories are interesting, only repeatable experiments can count as scientific evidence. So now that scientists understand how to test and replicate results, the chapter asks, has the scientific holy grail of psi evidence been achieved? The author begins by examining one of the most common alleged psi experiences, telepathy. Chapter 5, Telepathy. Feeling at a distance. People often report moments like, before I picked up the phone, I knew it was you. I suddenly thought of a friend, and they contacted me that same day. These experiences happen so often that they eventually needed a name. In 1882, Frederick W.H. Myers, from the Society for Psychical Research in London, coined the term telepathy, meaning, open quote, feeling at a distance, close quote. But here's the problem. Even if these stories feel meaningful, stories alone can't be accepted as scientific evidence. Why? Because they could be coincidence, selective memory, psychological suggestion, guesswork, misunderstanding. So the author says, if telepathy really exists, it must be proven in controlled experiments, not just through interesting stories. A quick warning. Telepathy, mind control. The book explains that many people believe they're being controlled or invaded mentally. They approach parapsychologists claiming, open quote, someone is putting thoughts in my head, close quote. The author says, these are usually psychological problems, not telepathy. Real psi effects in laboratories are small, subtle, not controllable, not powerful enough to manipulate anyone. If strong, intentional mind control existed, governments and militaries would already use it. But they don't, because telepathic influence is extremely weak and unconscious, if it exists at all. So the science must focus on subtle information transfer, not fantasy-style mind control. The first evidence, case studies, 1886. Before experiments existed, researchers collected reports of spontaneous telepathy. The most important early collection was in Phantasms of the Living, 1886. One famous case. A doctor in Florida dreamt of violent murder, a man's throat being cut. He didn't know who the victim was. Later, he learned that his wife's brother had been murdered exactly as he saw in his dream on the same date. Even more shocking, at the same time, the victim's sister-in-law in Kentucky had the same dream, describing the murder accurately. These cases forced scientists to consider, is there a mysterious communication between minds, especially during traumatic events? But again, cases can't prove anything scientifically. They only motivate researchers to create proper tests. Early experiments in telepathy. Researchers began controlled testing in the late 1800s. Sir William Barrett, 1883, tested hypnotized subjects for thought transference. Many experiments appeared successful. Sir Oliver Lodge, 1890s, a pioneer in radio technology, studied two young women who claimed telepathy. His results encouraged future research. Stanford University, 1917, Dr. John Coover. He tested thousands of card guesses, odds against chance, 160 to 1. Yet Coover downplayed his results due to scientific pressure. Harvard University, 1920s. Dr. Leonard Troland used automatic equipment to eliminate cheating. Results were statistically strong, even showing people avoiding correct answers more than chance suggested. Also meaningful in psi research. Mental radio. Upton Sinclair, 1930. Upton Sinclair, a famous writer, tested his wife's ability to draw images being sent by others. Sometimes the sender was in another room, sometimes many miles away. She reproduced surprisingly accurate drawings. Albert Einstein read Sinclair's work and said, open quote, "This deserves serious scientific consideration." Close quote. Later analysis proved, not chance, not cheating, not subconscious guessing, possibly telepathy or clairvoyance. Rhine's ESP cards, Duke University. In the 1930s to 1960s, J.B. Rhine used special cards with 5 symbols. Millions of trials were run. Results strongly suggested that something beyond the 5 senses was happening. But, and this is crucial, no experiment could clearly separate telepathy, mind to mind, from clairvoyance, mind to object. So scientists created a broader term, general ESP, GSP, meaning information can be transferred through unknown means, whether mind to mind or mind to object. Conclusion of Chapter 5. Telepathy is not magic or mind control. It is subtle, unconscious, and statistical. Stories motivate research, but don't prove anything. Experiments show anomalous information transfer, but science still can't explain how it works. The boundary between telepathy and clairvoyance is scientifically unclear. The chapter does not claim telepathy is fully proven, but it shows that there is enough evidence to take it seriously. Outrow. In future chapters, the book explores dream telepathy, psi in casinos, field consciousness experiments, and even practical uses of psi today. If you want the next chapter explained in this same style, comment below. Continue the conscious universe. Like, share, and subscribe for more science, mystery, and mind exploration.